What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I am your host, Tom Dark, and I dropped out of college. Not recently, this was like 2.5 months ago, I think now. It was like mid-December, but I dropped out of school officially. When it happened, I tweeted about it and got mostly positive reactions, although there were some negative ones, which I will discuss. But overwhelmingly, people on the internet were supportive of it. People in my personal life, meaning my parents, were not particularly supportive of it at the time. But I think now they've sort of accepted that maybe I'm not a completely insane person, maybe dropping out of college is not the end of the world. Maybe I will not fall off the face of the earth. And maybe I did not make the decision in haste, okay? Maybe I did actually think about it carefully after autistically weighing the options for like 3 months. Not even 3 months, really. The year and a half I was enrolled, like the entire time, I was just constantly thinking about leaving and I wanted to leave, to be honest. And every time I would bring it up to anyone in my family, it was always like a big argument. So eventually I just stopped bringing it up. I just decided to do it. And I think that a lot of people my age, particularly guys my age, are currently having some real doubts about whether or not going to school is even the right choice. They're having a lot of doubts like, is this even the right thing to do? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my money? And I'm not making this video to say that you should drop out or anything like that. I genuinely have like no real advice on that, other than I can say don't go to school for what I went to school for. In general, I don't know if college is the best decision for you. That's up for you to decide. You have to really come to that conclusion yourself. And for many, it's not a decision to be made lightly. It takes up like 4 years of your life, right? In a lot of cases, it can be a serious financial investment where you will be tens of thousands of dollars, if not upwards of $100,000 in debt, depending on the school you go to, depending on what you go to school for. And especially in a time like this when the economy is not doing super well with very high inflation, you got a pandemic right now, major geopolitical conflict, it seems like the world is falling apart. They're telling us gas prices are going to hit like $6 or $7 pretty soon. It's $15,000 right now for a Honda Civic with 120,000 miles on it. The world is going through a very scary time, and so you don't really know how all of these decisions are going to go in the long run. You're scared for your future. It's activated a lot of shaky knees, I think, and a lot of people are kind of nervous. Like, what is the future of education? Is this worth it? And the idea of dropping out of college at all is kind of a scary thing, especially in like white suburbia. You kind of get the impression that like if you drop out of college, like you kind of fall off the face of the earth. People consider you to be like dead. It's like you drop out of school, well, that's it. I guess he's fucked now. He's gonna work at the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru for the rest of his fucking life. And that's really not the reality. Like if you go in the real world, that is not the thing that you will encounter in the wild very much. There are a lot of people who do not have college educations of any kind who are making as much, if not more, than people who are educated. That being said, like there are definitely trends that indicate that like people who don't go to college may not succeed, but there are plenty of people who are doing well despite having no education in that way, or not like finishing their formal education. And I think there's kind of this like closed off culture in white suburbia that really needs to be broken a little bit of like, okay, maybe college is not the thing that everyone needs to do. Maybe trade school is okay. Maybe no college is needed at all. Maybe there are industries you can get into, with skills that you can get that aren't related to a traditional education. The reason I went to school is the reason I think more people went than they would admit. It's just the thing to do. You go through all of your education in public school, and then you go to university for 4 years to be taught skills which then allow you to get a job in the real world. That's the formula for life. That is the plan. That is the track that everyone in my life was set on from a very young age. I mean, it's what my parents did, right? It's what everyone around me was getting me ready to do in high school the entire time. It's what everyone around me in high school was getting ready to do. Go to college. And those who weren't going to college were almost treated like that was it, right? Like their life had kind of completed for whatever reason. College was just seen as like this necessary stepping stone to ascend in life. And if you don't go, hey, that's it, buddy. You're over. Your life just kind of stays there. And plus, hey, you know what? College is fun, okay? College is a fun time. You should go. You can meet people. You can go to parties. You can meet girls, people who you would otherwise not have met, who will be your pals forever. And you'll connect with them on a much more personal level than any of your friends from high school because, I mean, hell, they're going to school for the same thing you are. It would only make sense that they would have more passion overlap with you. They would get along with you better. And so me, being me, decided that I would go to college, okay? I was like, well, it wasn't really even a decision for me. It was just kind of like assumed, like, that's what you're going to do. Like, I remember in high school, people in my family at every family gathering would be asking like, hey, are you thinking about college yet? Have you toured any schools? And that was just the assumption. That's what you do. That is what your life is about. And so me, being me, I decided I would go to school for stuff I was passionate about, stuff I thought kind of made sense to me, stuff I liked. Because you can do whatever you want, Tom, okay? If you aspire to do something, you can do whatever you want. Unless that means not going to college. I've always liked art and writing, and in high school, those passions sort of combined into making dumbass videos on YouTube, so it just kind of made sense to me that I would go to school for something related to that. Technically, my major was teaching me two things. Really, it was a half journalism and a half production major. This meant that I would have classes in writing, where I would learn to like write articles and shit like like that. But also I would have to do a lot of production classes, like using Photoshop, the Adobe suite, and using cameras and all of that, how to actually like make videos, how to, you know, produce stuff for an employer. The degree itself is marketed as like trying to make you a sort of very well-rounded media professional who can write, who can produce, who can edit, and really just take part in every role you could need when working in the industry. So that sounded okay to me. I got a decent scholarship to a school in a pretty nice area. I mean, it was next to a shitty area, but the area it was in was pretty nice. The education itself seems like it would be fine. I toured the campus, and you know, it was not the greatest school in the world, not the most exciting thing I'd ever been to. It was not my top pick, but it was also not bad by any means. So I applied to a bunch of schools. This was one of the ones I got into, and I accepted it. I was ready to go off to college. I ended up lasting about a year and a half, so I did 3 semesters in total. And at the end of my 3rd semester, I was like, there is no fucking way I'm doing any more of this. This sucked. I have no desire to be here anymore, wasting my life away on something I don't want to do. And honestly, the entire time I was there, I was filled with this dread. Like, I don't want to be here. I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm not enjoying this. And despite it, like, for whatever reason, up until that point, I had never been able to just cut the cord and been like, you know, I'm leaving. And it is kind of a scary thing because it's like everyone my age is told, like, you got to go to college. That's, you know, that's the life. That's how everything is. That's what everyone does. And everyone around me was going to school. I mean, my buddies from high school are in college. My parents went to college. Anytime I would have a conversation with my parents about not going to school, it was like a terrible, like, mind-bending thing to them. And they didn't even want me to go to school for anything in particular, which was kind of one of the most telling things about it to me. It was like, they didn't want me to go to school for anything in particular. There was no one school they wanted me to go to. They didn't really care what I studied at all. Like, I could have been going for fucking gender studies and they would have been happy. They just wanted me to go to college, which I think is a terrible approach to anything. Like, doing something for the sake of it is a terrible approach to anything. But it was just like assumed that that was the path I was on, and I frankly had enough of it. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. So now I'm a rebel, I'm a badass, I'm living on my own, okay? I'm a strong, independent man, and I ain't need no bitch. In terms of social interactions, I didn't really get along with a lot of the people there. I've never been someone who had like a million friends, in case you couldn't tell, but I've never been like, you know, the center of attention, the life of the party, but I always had buddies in high school. I always had a good friend group. In high school, I had the same actually friends and acquaintances that I had since, I want to say like the third or fourth grade. And we were all just friends throughout all of that, like throughout all of school. And it's not like there was like no one I went to school with. I went to school with, I think, 1,000 kids in my high school. But yeah, I mean, they were just the people I got along with the most, and they were in my grade, and like we were just fucking tight. That's how it was. But in college, I did not really meet a lot of kids I got along with. Something I've felt a lot as of late is that I don't have a ton in common with a lot of people in my generation, okay? And this is not like a born in the wrong generation type thing, okay? I think that I'm just an autist, really, who who spends too much time online, and as a result, a lot of things I care about and think about are on the internet, and it's just not relevant to other people, I guess. And also, I think a part of it is like, I have no desire to like detail my personal life to people IRL, which makes me kind of closed off. Like, I'm not trying to go up to everyone like I meet in person and be like, yeah, I actually run this YouTube channel. It's called Turkey Tom. You can check it out. I'm like a racist on the internet. I'm like a racist homophobe on the internet. Kidding. That's just a joke. But I have I just have no desire to go inform a bunch of people like, hey guys, on the internet, I make like these weird, like stupid fucking videos. I make commentary videos about YouTubers. Actually, I make documentaries now. They're like small mini documentaries I make about like YouTubers. Like, you should like check them out. Like, No, I'm not fucking doing that. But the kids I was meeting at this school, I mean, to be frank, I would try to have conversations with them, and it just kind of went nowhere. I tried hanging out with kids who wore like band tees, right? I tried hanging out with people who like my kind of music, okay? I'd be like, hey, I like that band. And, you know, sometimes like girls would approach me at school and be like, hey, I like that band, want to have a conversation? And I would talk to them a little bit. And you know, some of them I even got to know a little bit, but it just was not like, I don't know, nothing was really clicking for me. I just didn't really get along with these people. The conversations were kind of empty and vapid small talk, passing time. And anytime I got into anything deeper, it would just be like, I don't want to listen to this person's thoughts on anything, because I just don't find it like very interesting. It was not for lack of trying, you know. I would be like, I would be hanging out. Sometimes I'd get fucked up. Okay, I get fucked up with my friends, and we'd hang out with other people. And honestly, that didn't get me going that much. Honestly, just because the people around me were not that fun to be around. I just didn't really like them. Maybe part of this is like my mentality with conversations and friendship that I'm not aware of, but just for like conversing with these people, it felt like such a fucking chore. Even kids within my major that I would talk to, like, it all felt so fleeting. It felt so pointless. It felt like, the conversations were not going anywhere. I did not give a shit. And I don't think it's an intelligence thing, because I'm not a particularly gifted person in that way. Like, I'm just not. But for whatever reason, I just did not care about talking to these people. And it wasn't for like lack of intelligence from them either. It's not like either of us were on like drastically different, like, it's not like I'm that stupid, okay? It's just like, we just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't click. I didn't vibe with them, so to speak. Now, this is not to say I did not meet any friends. I did meet one. I did make one friend who I actually would consider like my friend, who I got along with, who I actually like talked about shit with like every day. And we're actually friends right now, okay? We're hanging out this weekend. Oh yeah, he's got friends. He's got a friend. He's got a friend. He's got a friend. They're gonna hang out. Basically, the first week or so of my freshman year, my dorm building had like a meeting outside to like get to know each other or something. And I'd been hanging out with this one guy basically out of convenience because he was in like the room next to me. And when I got there, my mom was like, "Hey Tom, you should go say hi. You should go say hi to him." And I was like, all right, I'll go say hi, I guess. So that was just kind of the way we knew each other, because our moms like connected. They like, they mind melded our moms. So I was talking to this kid, and these girls kind of approached us and asked us what we were doing later. And we said, you know what, we're actually up to nothing. And they were like, okay, well, you should meet us outside the dorm at like 7 o'clock. So after dinner, we did meet them outside, and they had kind of gathered this like group of other kids that they had somehow met. I guess they were very social people. I believe one of them was what you may call a social butterfly. We met them outside, and this is where I believe I met my buddy Joe. Now, Joe was not in the area of study I was. He was in the music school, but really just on the basis of our sense of humor, kind of like the weird shit we like to watch on the internet, we managed to actually become good pals. And basically, he was the person I would eat dinner with every day, get drunk with on the weekends, go out to eat with, try to meet other people with. And that was for the entire time I was at school. Like, that was it. Which, honestly, I was kind of fine with. I could live without having like a massive friend group. I mean, we were pals, and that was fine. So the social stuff, I didn't connect with a lot of people, but I did meet one friend who I consider to be a good friend. He had another friend who was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know him that well, but like, we would hang out in his dorm and just like, I don't know, sit around, do retarded shit. So he was okay. But the most important part of school, they say, is education, right? I mean, you are at college, you're at a university, you're at a school. So how was that education? It was not at all what I wanted. Not even not what I wanted. It was just not good. I don't know what I expected out of it. I don't know what I went in there thinking they would try to teach me, but it was bad. It was fucking bad. It was not valuable. It was basically worthless. Now I'm going to say something wacky and mind-boggling, okay? Nothing I learned there was anything I could not learn on the internet. Everything they tried to teach me was stuff I had already learned or been able to learn on YouTube via tutorials that would take me like 3 days tops to master all of the skills that they were teaching me in an entire fucking class, okay? I learned how to use Photoshop when I was 14 years old. I did not need these fucking people to teach me this. Meanwhile, I was paying thousands of dollars a month to be there eating shitty food in a shitty dorm around people I did not want to be around, going to classes with people I did not want to be around. And yeah, you can already hear the seething, the malding, the coping coming out right now, okay? You can hear me spurring at the thought of my time in school because, yeah, I just did not like it. I hated it. So as for the classes, let's just throw all of the gen eds that suck out, okay? Let's just throw all of the gen eds away. Because you know what? They're dumb, but it's stuff everyone who goes to school has to do. And honestly, I had a gen ed that I think was on like philosophy that I actually thought was kind of good. Like that was interesting at the very least. It was stimulating to the brain. My first year, second semester, they put me in a class where it was called like media production or something. And there they taught me the basics of Photoshop and how to perform simple cuts and adding text to Adobe Premiere Pro, as well as how to make a website, but not even really how to make a website, not even how to like code a website, which once again is shit you can learn online in like 3 days. Instead, this motherfucker taught me how to make a WordPress, okay? Like, fucking worthless. An entire class dedicated to making a WordPress and embedding a YouTube link on it, pressing my mouse like 4 times. And when was that class? Oh, it was 7 at night, from 7 until 9 at night on like a Tuesday. Why would anyone in their right mind pay to go to this class? And the other people in there seemed to like actually like love it. They didn't even seem to have an issue with it. They thought it was like the greatest thing in the world. And I'm just sitting there like, how do you people not realize that like you can learn any of this in 15 minutes on youtube.com, okay? You want to know how to make a WordPress site? First of all, that's not a skill, okay? That's not a fucking skill that you need to learn, you need to pay to learn. But secondly, like you can do that not even from a YouTube tutorial. The WordPress site will walk you through how to set up a website on their stupid fucking service. Like it's just doesn't, what are you doing? Why? But you know what? These people thought they were getting a great experience out of their investment, out of spending $30,000 to $50,000 a year for this investment. This is shit I learned when I was 14, and it's not even like an intelligence thing. This is just everyone should be able to figure this out. Everyone should know that like YouTube tutorials can teach you anything. My other production related classes were similarly worthless, stupid fucking shit that did not help me in any way and were black holes of money. Genuinely the only plus I think that there was involved in any of that was the fact that they would let you like rent out equipment if you had a class that was related to like filming something. That was pretty good. That was a good thing. But apart from that, it was like, I don't need to sit in a class to be taught how to record a podcast, okay? I really do not. But okay, what about the writing classes? I mean, that is the other half of my major, right? The media theory classes. No, they were similarly worthless, and similarly nothing of even the smallest amount of value was to be gleaned from that experience, okay? First of all, the writing itself was easy for me, but it was whatever, okay? I think college essays are stupid and worthless. If you took AP US history in high school, then you already know how to write a great essay in a short amount of time, assuming you did well in the class. So it's not a big deal, okay? If you take AP US history in high school, you kind of know how to write a college essay. All of the formatting stuff is dumb and annoying, and teachers will deduct points for small shit like that, but it's not a big deal, okay? At least it teaches you how to like follow directions carefully and like meet proper specifications, because if you're going into the industry for like media, you will come into a lot of bullshit like that, because a lot of people have like autistic like, no, you need to do it this way. Shut up! But at least like the actual idea of writing an essay is something you should probably know how to do about, okay? Any creative person should know how to do that. How to set up an argument, how to look into a topic and do adequate research, how to line up your reasoning in a way that is easy to understand and interesting to follow. That is valuable, I think, even if I did not want to be taught how to do it 8 times in a row. The most annoying thing was that Jordan Peterson was kind of right, okay? This guy was right, and I didn't want him to be right. I wanted to call him cringe for like thinking this. But this guy was right that colleges are full of annoying socialist freaks. At least the classes I was taking were. I had multiple classes where the professors not only made criticisms of capitalism, which is like whatever, but they also espoused that like communism is like, you know what, maybe not all that bad. Maybe we should like consider whether or not communism could work in the United States. Maybe the ideas there are pretty good. Which is whatever. I mean, I guess I can kind of live with that. Like, it was annoying. But it was especially frustrating that like they had to encourage every student to like weigh in on the issue. And I basically just lied about my opinions there. Like when I wrote essays, I would just pretend to be like the most far left fucking annoying gaylord in the world, because that's what people want, okay? That's what the professors want, and I knew that would give me a good grade. And it did, actually. It did give me a good grade, even though I totally half-assed those essays and did not really give a shit about them. But really, it was just annoying that like this shit was being shoved down my throat. To be frank, like I don't think I can get any value out of attending a class, which, by the way, I had to take this one fucking class. It was like civil rights music or something like that. I genuinely don't remember like any of what I learned in there. You know, this Korean guy was teaching it, and he was like, today we're gonna learn about the music of civil rights, and then we just watched a bunch of people like play bongos or something. Like, dude, I just don't care. You're not teaching me anything valuable. This will not help me in any way. And everyone in that class knew that it was not valuable. In fact, in most of my classes, like, I would say in some of the ones that were intensive to my major, people kind of felt like it was valuable, but a lot of the time, a lot of the people in those classes didn't even seem to completely know why they were there. Like, a lot of them seemed unconfident in their decision to be there, and some of them were seniors that were like, yep, this is my 4th year, this is just what I'm doing, this is how life is, and I don't really blame them for that, because that's what they've been told to do their entire life. All of the messaging we receive as young people is basically that, like, you know, you got to go to school and that's the thing you do, but it just didn't feel that great. It was just nothing. Like, I was there to be taught how to write articles or whatever the fuck journalists do. I was not there to take entire classes about social justice. I just don't particularly care, okay? I'm a white kid from suburbia. I want to know how to make like funny videos. I don't want to know how to I don't want to know how to like uplift the world. That's not what I'm in the business of doing. It's the entertainment industry. I shit you not, I had not one, but 2 entire hour and 15-minute long classes in a row dedicated to learning about Gamergate, okay? Dedicated to being told that Zoe Quinn and Anita Sarkeesian got doxxed by 4chan trolls. By the Green Frog Brigade itself, okay? Like, I had to sit here and listen to, like, you know, talk about YouTubers. Like I remember Sargon of Akkad came on screen, and I was just sitting there like, why the fuck am I in this class? Like, why am I being taught this, motherfucker? I don't need to be here. Why am I paying money to be here? I was not being taught anything of any value. So the social justice stuff itself was kind of annoying, but honestly, it's not even a big complaint I have with school. It kind of irked me, but I'm not sensitive enough to those issues that like it really bothers me when like it's brought up, because at the end of the day, like some of it is important. I acknowledge that, you know, it's important to, especially because there's a lot of like social justice type movements going on in the world. It's important to be aware of that and be educated on like, you know, the world of that is existing. But I didn't really care about it, and to this day I don't. But you know what? Whatever. That's not that big of a deal, is it? Because at the end of the day, there were some educational elements, which were also shit. Once again, all stuff I could have learned from a YouTube video. In fact, in multiple of my classes, they just played YouTube videos in class and assigned YouTube videos as homework to watch. In entire classes, we would watch like a Netflix documentary, and the test would be about what happened in the documentary. I was paying like $30,000 a year to be at this school. I mean, okay, I personally was not paying. My parents were paying half. I paid like some of that while I was there, and you know, I took on a little debt for that, which I have to pay off now, which is annoying, but whatever. And just to add on top of all of that, right, like my frustrations with the education itself and the classes, you know, the actual living situation there was not good at all. I mean, my first year, you know, it wasn't that bad. But my second year, like, the dorm they put me in didn't have fucking air conditioning. And genuinely, I don't know how this building passed inspection. When I got there, I think I, like, shit myself. My parents were walking in here trying to, like, remain optimistic, while I could see the fact on their faces that they were, you know, coming to terms with the fact that I was living inside of a building that was, like, 100 years old and needed to desperately be renovated or knocked down because the asbestos in the floor was going to give me fucking cancer. I mean, the heater was in multiple pieces on the floor when I got there. The shelves were, like, literally falling off the fucking wall. The paint was chipping on the walls. And on top of that, okay, you know what? There's no air conditioning, but, you know, maybe it will circulate a cool air really well or something. I remember my parents were like, well, you can just get a fan. Yeah, I got fans. They did not do shit. They literally basically helped nothing. It was fucking insufferable. The walls in that dorm trapped heat better than Auschwitz. I think my balls actually sweat so much when I was in there that I caused a leak in the floor, and it probably dripped all fucking over whoever was in the room under me trying to get some sleep. And on top of that, these fucking animals on top of me were just running around like all night. Like, okay, listen, like people have to sleep at some point, okay? I understand being up late. I understand being up kind of late in the night, but these motherfuckers would like run around upstairs. It wasn't even fucking. It sounded like they were wrestling. It sounded like a bunch of people wrestling, having a wrestling competition, literally running back and forth in the room like above me all night. Where they just like, was this guy like slamming this girl into every fucking wall he could? Is that what was going on? But it was like, I don't even know what could possibly have taken up that much time. Like literally all night there were people fucking running around. I felt like I was living in a creepypasta or something. I felt like a fucking demon, a fucking ghoul, a goblin was gonna come out of the ceiling above me. It did not make any sense how these people could be at college, seemingly attend classes, right? Because they didn't leave. They were there the entire semester, but also be awake for 8 hours at night. It made no sense. So really, there was like no enjoyable part of the college experience for me, personally. And you know, if the education was good enough, I might have been able to really stomach like the rest of it, but it just was not. I did not fucking want to be there. I just did not. I felt like I was wasting my time. Side note, I just thought of this story from school that was kind of funny. I remember there was this time that there was this chick in one of my classes who I kind of fucking hated, and to be honest, I don't really know exactly why I hated her. Like she just said things that like annoyed me. She just talked in a way that annoyed me. I'm sure you've all met people like that, but it was really because of the shit she would say. I remember I was sitting in class and we were doing this whole like, oh, you know, say something about yourself, to introduce yourself to the classroom and like let people know who you are, what your vibe is, let people know like how you feel and like, you know, what your aura is. So I was sitting in class and, you know, everyone was taking their turn or whatever, and it gets to the chick behind me, and to like represent herself to the class, okay, to inform everyone of who she was. She was like, yeah, I really like old music. I feel like new music is not that great, but old music, I think there's just a lot of great music released back in the past, and, you know, the popular stuff back then is just better than anything that's popular right now. And out of curiosity, the professor was like, oh, well, what kind of music do you like? And this girl goes, yeah, I like Nirvana a lot. I remember when I heard that, I felt like a vein in my forehead like pop out and then burst, and I could feel the blood rush down my face, just all over me. And I remember, you know, slowly turning around to gaze at her stupid fucking face, talking about Nirvana. I just remember like hearing that, and I was like, ooh, I fucking hate you. Does anyone actually like Nirvana, by the way? Does actually like anyone listen to Nirvana, or is that some kind of psyop? Like, is that a government psyop being planted into our head? Is there a Nirvana pill they give us when we're like 8? I don't really think Nirvana is a real band. I think they're just kind of like implanted into my brain as like a thing that exists, but I don't think they ever really like made music. I don't know if they're real. But hey, you know what, Tom? College may suck, okay? It must suck right now, but you know, sometimes life is not about living for right now. Sometimes it's about living for the future. Even if it's not the best experience in the world, it's an investment, Tom. It's an investment. See it that way. Okay, I agree. You know what? Maybe you already do know the stuff in your classes. Maybe you already know a lot of it, but hey, you know, that should just make it easy for you. I mean, your classes will be easy. You can meet some people, you can make friends, you can go to parties, and getting that degree is important, okay? Even if you do only see it as a piece of paper and simply a certificate, you know, a document that will get you a job, and it doesn't translate to actual skills, okay? It's still important that you do get that, because that's how the world works, okay? You know, you don't create the world. You know, anywhere you want to get a job, you have to have a college degree. It's not like you're having a hard time, your classes are pretty easy, it's a simple lifestyle, you got a monster vending machine in your dorm building. Things could be worse, right? Well, let's talk about that investment, okay? Let's talk about that investment for college. I think in some cases, college can be a very important investment for some people. I think there are industries you can go into where college will actually, you know, produce a job for you that is valuable. But in many cases, it's really not. And I think a lot of people are going to school just for the sake of going to school and are going to come to terms with the, you know, the shocking, the fucking like world shattering realization that maybe college is not all it's cracked up to be for everyone. Maybe going for the sake of it is not the best idea. Maybe the thing being pushed on us by like Gen X and the baby boomers is not actually the greatest path in life for everyone. So I was going to school for basically stuff that would be able to get me a job in the TV industry, right? And to put it frankly, TV is dying. Like TV is over. Ratings are down, ads are becoming fewer and farther between. Old people are dying, and within 20 years, this idea of television will likely be drastically different than it has been like before for the last like 100 years. Most people get their news from Facebook or Twitter. The most popular TV shows do not even crack the most popular YouTube channels, like not even close. And most people who work on TV are not making that much money. TV studios are hemorrhaging money. These networks are hemorrhaging money because not a lot of people are watching TV anymore. Ad rates are going down across the board. Shit is hitting the fan for TV people, and the traditional media in that way is really having to find ways to adapt. So TV is not like this like titan that used to be, you know. It's not like going to school for that is really going to help me. So I mean, you know, my options after school were like I could work at like a TV station or I could work at like BuzzFeed basically. Because let's be honest, these publications that write articles are not fucking making any money. No one reads articles, no one gives a shit. And I mean, that's it. Like what else can you say? The traditional media is on its way out. So here are my options, okay? I can finish school, which will harm my ability to do literally everything else, okay? It will prevent me from posting as many videos as I want as often as possible. It will take away my time that I really value, because time is really important, okay? Especially right now, like time is money. The amount of time I put into YouTube will contribute to the amount of people that see my videos, and that will contribute to my income. So time is money. If I continue with school, it will become, you know, increasingly like a bigger responsibility as time goes on. I'll eventually have to do an internship, which will probably be unpaid. And if I do get paid, I'll be paid way less than what I'm making right now. And it will take away time from the thing that I'm spending my time on right now, right? YouTube, which is already a good opportunity that I have that I figured out that's going super well. College is preventing me from doing larger video projects where I have to travel with people and meet people for interviews, which is in the works right now, okay? Some pretty cool high production stuff. But despite the fact that, you know, you feel that education is worthless and you're really not vibing with it, okay? It's really not going your way. When it's over, you get a job, okay? I'll get a job when it's over. That job will maybe, if I'm lucky, pay me $50,000 a year. And to have that job, I will need to live in a major metropolitan area. This means I'll have to live with a roommate, working long hours, at a place I don't really care about, working with people I don't really want to be around, working in an industry that is dying. And maybe, if I'm lucky, in 15 years, I will make good enough money to have my own apartment without a roommate. In 15 years, when I am like in my mid-30s, that's when I will have enough money to have my own apartment. Not house, apartment. Also, as a plus, most of my money will still go to rent because I'm living in a major metropolitan area. Meanwhile, I will be spending my life thinking about what could have been if I had chased the YouTube dream I was basically ready to do full-time years ago. I mean, I know people that are making millions of dollars right now off of online ventures who did not get a college degree, okay? These are people making more money than anyone in the TV industry is making. Oh, and to add to that, I would have tens of thousands of dollars in student debt that I need to pay off. Oh, and because of the instability of the TV industry right now, and the traditional entertainment industry in general, my job will not be a surefire thing. I could be laid off pretty soon, considering the fact that the industry is one that no one gives a shit about, including me. I don't give a shit about it, and I'm going to school to be a part of it. Yeah, I think I'll pass. I think I'm good. I think for some areas of study, college can genuinely be a valuable experience. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to big brother you guys, because I am 19. A lot of people who watch my channel are probably older than me and have way more experience than me, so maybe it will come across like I'm kind of talking out of my ass, which I've just accepted at this point. I'm just kind of outlining my thoughts right now, but I do genuinely think that in some areas college can be valuable. Computer science is probably a good place to get a degree because there are a lot of places right now hiring for that. I know people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing programming for a pretty minimal amount of work, frankly, and all they had to do was get their college degree, which you do need in a lot of cases in that industry. If you're good at math, I imagine architecture, engineering are probably safe bets. Those are great areas with a lot of need for development of new buildings and neighborhoods and stuff like that. There's a lot of neighborhoods being built right now. There's always going to be people that need a new building, a new office building. So that's probably a good place to be, right? But going to school for art, going to school for something creative, man, you are fucking wasting your money. You are wasting your life away. Anyone who is doing anything valuable with art right now is basically doing it on the internet, even if they went to college at one point. And not only that, on the internet, you can make your own schedule, okay? Obviously, you do have to meet demand and you do have to work. You can't be a lazy fucking bum all the time, but it's a much more convenient lifestyle than working in some studio, okay? So yeah, my advice, my genuine advice that I can say that I think is real and raw and based is if you want to learn how to do something creative, if you want to do art, just start doing it online and figure it out, okay? Stop going to school for it. You're wasting your time. Now, a lot of people will come to me sometimes and they'll be like, hey, well, can you really rely on YouTube? And that's one of the greatest things that people will bring up to me. One of the most common things will be like, hey, Tom, I know you're confident in YouTube and it's going well right now, but are you sure that's going to last forever? And no, I'm not sure it's going to last forever. I don't know why anyone would expect me to give that answer. Is it really the smartest option to bank on something that's unreliable? I mean, everything is unreliable to an extent, right? There's no one job that you can be sure will last forever, okay? There are probabilities with outcomes, right? You can work jobs that are more secure, but especially in the entertainment industry, you don't really know how things are going. Tom, you should go back to school. What if it doesn't work out and you go broke? Well, this is not a decision that I made lightly. I can assure you, okay? I've been a busy beaver, a busy squirrel, saving my money for a while now, and I currently have enough money to live off of it for a while. If I had to stretch it, I could live off of it for a few years and not really have to worry about it. So, what does that provide, okay? Well, that is my cushion. That is my safety net. I have no desire to spend my savings on anything anytime soon, but if for some reason YouTube fails and I stop making consistent income, which, don't get me wrong, would really, really suck. It would really suck to lose the thing that I've been working at for years of my life. Literally every day, not every day, okay? A lot of days for years. I've been working on YouTube and I've really put my all into this, okay? It's really a thing that I really care about and I'm very passionate about. If it did not work out, I would be devastated. It would really suck. But if for whatever reason it does not work out, I'm confident I'll be able to find something else on the internet which will work out. Something I don't talk about a lot is that I don't just do work for my own channel. Well, okay, these days I mostly just do work for me, but I've made enough connections with other YouTubers that if things don't work out for me, I can make a considerable income just working for other people. Enough to live off of at the very least. So I basically don't consider that to be more of a leap of faith than spending 4 years in school, a collective of over $100,000 to get a job I don't really want that much anyway. To get that job that just seemed like a decent choice in an array of limited options, okay? That's just not the life I want to live. I don't want to do that. And the entire time I was in school, literally everyone, even kids my age were like, why the fuck don't you just drop out if you hate it so much? If you fucking despise it. And everyone but my parents basically was telling me that, everyone I knew who does what I do for a job, even my buddies that were my age were dropping out of school. And for whatever reason, I just waited longer and longer, because I really wanted to make sure it was the right decision. And, now there really is no doubt in my mind that I made the right choice, which feels good. Obviously, I don't know the long-term consequences of dropping out of school, of my decision, but I have no intention of going back in any way. So whatever it is that I do, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to figure it out like I always have, which in a way does feel daunting. Don't get me wrong. It is a little scary to think about that. It is, it's not what everyone's doing. And when you're doing something that not everyone is doing, right? It's scary. It's scary to take that leap of faith, even if I don't consider it, that risky of a decision. Because frankly, if things didn't work out with YouTube, it's not like my family hates me, right? I plan to move out soon, but if I needed to move back in, they probably would let me. It's not like, my family is poor or anything like that. So it's not like it's a total risk for me, right? There is some risk associated that I think is a scary thing. And I understand that, but I genuinely feel that, there's no decision I could have made in that moment that would have made me happier than how it is right now. And admittedly, I have had my ups and downs since then. Recently went through a relationship ending, which kind of sucked. But it is what it is. So definitely going through some transitions in life right now. But I'm optimistic about the future, which is good. And I'm especially optimistic about the fact that I don't have to go to class with people I don't want to be around, learning shit I learned when I was 14. This is an opportunity that I don't want to waste, so I'm not going to. All right, wow, that recording got a little deeper than I expected, got a little more personal than I expected, and actually went way fucking longer than I expected. Holy shit, this is going to be a long video. But I think that about wraps up my thoughts on school and my experience with it. If you guys liked this video, then be sure to leave a like. If you disliked it, then leave a dislike. And be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, letting me know what you think about all of this, about college, about your own experiences with it. Or even if you think I'm a dumbass, just call me a dumbass and tell me why. Alrighty, I'm gonna get out of here, but I will see you guys in the next video, which should be real soon. Bye!